Okay, so I haven't talked about BBBY for quite a while now, but I have reason to believe that there could be a setup happening very, very soon. So let's go ahead and dive in now. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, this is ARCa coming at you with a BBBY technicals, raw price action, and statistical thread of analysis on this Hump Day Wednesday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. Sorry. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, so yes, this is BBBY on the 3-day chart. Okay, so let's go ahead and start going over the things that are most obvious. Okay, so what you're looking at here is an Adam and Eve formation and or an inverted cup and handle, right? So a cuppy W, right? So this inverted cup and handle does have a price objective for us to take a look at, and there is I mean, you know, taking a trend line here from the very top side of the cup all the way to the bottom side of it and applying it to that to the handle, right? That gives you a price objective of about 33.14. Of course, the price action right now is sitting, you know, right down here at about 28 cents, right? So it has since realized its true nature, right? So even we have that oval, right? We have that top side target. We come back down. We fail that overall bottom side support. We come back up and test that resistance. Then it actually starts to make that downside move, okay, per the instructions here. It usually happens like that within this formation. And also the fact that it is on a 3-day chart, it gives it a little more weight. Okay, so my point to this is that there could be a bottom soon, okay, or it could be, yeah, we may have found a bottom, or it could be soon, all right? So just know that, but let's go ahead and continue on the analysis so that you can get the full thesis on this, okay? So now, yes, let's go ahead and look at the statistics, okay? So the statistics here are, or the context behind it is anytime that we have expanded into critical volatility within the 90 percentile and started a contraction phase towards the downside paired with stochastic momentum with an upside pivot, we have gotten, let's see, this is the entire trading history of the 5-day backtest, right? So go ahead and notice just like this. These are all the samples that I've gathered together per that context that I just gave you, right? So that gives us a total of 35 iterations, of which 25 have been guessed correctly to the upside, giving us an upside accuracy of 71.43% with an averaged upside thrust of 62.55% over the span of about 47 days, right? So that particular move is setting up. But the thing is that the current iteration on the stochastics momentum, yes, although we have, anytime that we have, started the contraction phase paired with that upside, we have gotten that read. However, this one read that we're in right now is very curious, and let me show you why. Please pay attention to, actually, you know what, even this is still slightly off, and I believe that I can get it down to even a little bit tighter, right there. So this here, please notice, historically speaking, when was it that we've ever touched that bottom, right? So never. So what you are looking at here are historic lows, okay? So meaning that this is the furthest that the stochastic momentum oscillator has capitulated here in the BBBY asset, okay? I'm talking since 1992 or 93, whenever the beginning of the trading happened for this asset, right? Yeah, around June 1992. So this is one of one iterations now at critical oversold. So what this could mean is that the upside thrust could very well surpass the standard deviation or the absolute mean, right? The 62.55. Okay, so for now, I guess if we can apply that 62.55% move to the upside to the current price action, right, and that'll give us a target just to kind of look out for, right? So that would give us about 52 cents from the current lows right now at 28 cents. Okay, so yeah, so just I kind of wanted just to point that out, right? Because there is a serious potential for a massive upside on this thing, and I'm not sure how far past this mean this can actually present. but it could be very powerful since we have never seen anything this oversold, right? So the bounce from this, and it looks like there's still a potential, let me see, just, oh yeah, so there's still a little bit of downside to even kind of look into here, just to kind of finish off that pivot, right? So it could just, ever so slightly touch down like this, right? And then come back up, right? So there we go. Yeah, so that I'm talking about a potential huge move to the upside here, guys. Okay, so now let's go ahead and continue on the analysis, because there is actually a very rare occurrence here too. Okay, so this is a broadening descending wedge, and it has failed, and it actually went to the downside. This is how broadening descending wedges were traded before the shift, right? So before November 2021, these formations would usually present a bearish outcome and have the price action come to the downside, right? So now they've actually had a very high hit rate in the change of narrative now, right? So now it would be test, like 1, 2, 3, 4, test true breakout number 5 or true breakout number 4 to the upside, right? And then that take profit would be to the genesis of the formation, which would be at about 32 cents here. But that wasn't the case in this sense. Okay, so now going back to the traditional rules of trading this particular formation, you have to take a trend line from the top side of the formation upon, from the breakout area, right, which would be potentially this candle here, and then you apply that, to the breakout candle, right? So this would suggest potential drop to about around 16 cents, right? So what's curious here is that if you take, and it's getting very close to it, right? Of course, there is, 28 to 16 cents is kind of a distance away, right? So there are two targets right now that I want to focus on, okay? So first of all, if we take a Fibonacci retracement from the swing low to the swing high of this 3-day iteration, which is this one right here, right? That takes you to 1653 at the 2.618. And if we can just draw, a trend line here, you can actually see how confluent that is to the bottom target of our broadening descending wedge, right? So that's already curious. Now, the other thing is that please remember that this slight tiny downside that we're looking at here on the 5-day stochastic momentum doesn't suggest to have such a huge capitulation event, right? So and now focusing on the 3-day inverted cup and handle, the discretionary target here seems to be already kind of diminishing, right? So, and also notice that the candles are starting to get smaller and smaller here, right? So that's kind of another indication that we could potentially have found, a floor or very soon. The second target that I want to express here is this one here. So if we take a Fibonacci retracement from this candle here, from the swing low of this candle to the swing high of this candle, then we can this is right before this capitulation event, so it is valid, okay? So it's still valid. We can actually see that there is a 2.618 yet again right over here at 2411. Okay, so 2411, let's just go ahead and make a trend line just like this. Right, and it appears as though that's a golden mean, right? So that is a golden mean. It very well has a potential of reaching this target here in the short term. And if it does so feel, if the sentiment so feels like we need to validate further down and complete the overall price target for the broadening descending wedge, then in that case we would bring heavy relevance to that 16-cent target, right, to the other 2.618. Okay, but nonetheless, any of these targets here are going to be, they can actually present a pretty explosive opportunity here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and dive into the RSI and take a look at a couple things here. Okay, so this is the 12-hour divergence. Okay, so divergence happens when there is an opposition of price action versus momentum. Momentum in this case represented by the RSI. Okay, so go ahead and take a look at this iteration here where we have a higher high built on the momentum and you have a lower high built on the price action. That is indicative of a drive of hidden bearish divergence, right? So, and it has since started, right? So that's good. The thing is now, pardon me, that there is a drive that we haven't confirmed just yet, right? But there is a drive here of, a massive regular bullish divergence, right? So literally from the pivot of about January 6, 2023, all the way until literally just yesterday, or actually today. Damn, literally today. There is a potential pivot starting here to validate one drive of bullish divergence, which is yet again telling us that we could be close to a floor. And not only that, look at the 12-hour, 14-day simple moving average right down here. So it looks like there's very limited downside here as well. We have been riding below the 14-day simple moving average since Wednesday, the March 29th, right? So it has been kind of under this for quite a while, and it looks like it's finally succeeding above that 14-day simple. There wouldn't be any problem if we came back down to validate that area, which then would present the validation of the targets that we're looking for, either the 24.11 or the 16-cent target, right? So it's kind of a support range that we have to kind of look at, right? And now let's go ahead and just open up the multi-pane here to see what we have, right? So now let's go ahead and open up with let's see, that 30-minute. Let's go ahead and open up the 30-minute RSI here. And please notice that it still has a little bit of downside to go as well. And the moving average is starting to kind of pivot towards the downside alongside that RSI signal pressure, the signal represented by the purple line. Okay, the other thing is that it is kind of lying within the gravitational zone of the bear strength percentile, which would usually, kind of pressure things to the downside a bit more. So now here on the 4-hour, it looks like it's trying to find support from that 14-day simple moving average, which is very good. Okay, so no problem there, right? So now here on the 8-hour, it's actually suggesting for us to cross below. This is the 8-hour right here, okay? But the 8-hour is suggesting for us to cross below on the 4-hour and slightly start correcting up again. And this is a very weak bearish signal. And it has since crossed to the upside above that 14-day simple moving average. So there could be a very limited downside here as well, right? Very gradual consolidation / downside before finding a support. Now, jumping into the higher term timeframes, you can actually see that we're balancing out a little more, right? So notice the 12-hour that's just in consolidation here. A little bit of a tiny little bearish pivot there on the 14-day simple, but nothing to be too worried about. And here again, so on the buy daily, of course, it's still kind of pivoted towards the downside, but it's not like this, right? So you can see that there is a great loss of bear strength and or potential covering soon of short positions, right? So, and then definitely notice here on the 5-day that it's absolutely just pivoted to the right, horizontally here, and it could just be waiting for the influence from the shorter time frames, right? So my overall point here is that there is kind of a slowing down of bear pressure here. And another thing to kind of keep in mind here is that if we jump into the 12-hour, you'll start to notice that there's actually an influx in the money flow index. So there is money coming in now, despite the candle being bearish and actually still suggesting downside. Stochastic momentum within the money flow index is actually suggesting a continuation to the upside here. So it kind of feels like someone knows something, right? So I don't know. It's just, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos. It's just a form of entertainment, okay? I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets. And also remember, guys, that I'm still offering just a few seats left on the ArcMasters trading course. Find a Gmail in the description below and send me an email. We'll go over the price points, whatever you need to go over, right? And we'll get you enrolled. All right, you guys, yes, please do your own due diligence. Everything will be good, okay, you guys? But yes, there is an approaching massive opportunity here for BBBY. And let's just keep an eye on it, right? So, all right, you guys, but with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.